the position training occupies in fighting power of an army. I'm sure you are all familiar with this fighting power. Whenever when we were in China on national defense, when you speak to them about what about your army, how is your army, the first thing they speak about is fighting power. But unlike our component, they fill these parts not with theory, but with the actual components of fighting power. They have measurements for their moral component, they have measurements for their conceptual and doctrinal component in terms of realism, they have measurements for their physical component, which will say the numbers, the number of tanks, blah blah blah. When you line these up, this is just a theoretical expression, but when they line it up, you see your army. It was done very successfully. We saw at a glance you could compare armies, but providing it's genuinely done by independent people. So conceptual power is of course the head that you and I know, and right at it is the principles of war, military doctrine and development. But it is the doctrine that is important. There was a statement made some time back by one of the Pacific commanders of the United States of America after we finished this conflict. He said the point about Sri Lanka is that it is Sri Lankan army is that they are unpredictable. Unpredictable. Yes, armies without doctrines are unpredictable. No army in the world would have crossed the Wellamuli Baikal with so many thousands of civilians and elite intermediates. Yes, we are unpredictable. So anyway, the point is, you can see this under the physical component of fighting. You can see training and readiness. Training. Training is what brings all this together into a generative form. Now it's just passive, it's just dormant. But training kickstarts it, brings it to bear. And actually there is something under moral component, training essential. Under the conceptual component. Matching doctrine, coping with stress and uncertainty, learning from experience. Today, the Israeli army claims that they claim very, of course, evidently, that they can put a soldier into battle through training. That is, their systems, their training systems have been so designed that when the soldier enters the battlefield, he has already fought his battle. They are trying to overcome the first battle then. They have developed a highly sophisticated urban warfare village. I heard they spend millions of dollars. Today armies are speaking of the training experience, because those armies don't have what we have, the combat experience. But the point is, they are trying to bring the training experience as close as possible to the combat experience. This has been done very effectively. They use the technology, the live weapons, everything well integrated. When the soldier walks out of that, he has fought his first battle. So just a few things. Training is fundamental to the three interrelated components of fighting power as shown on the slide. Training influences and develops the mind of the commander and fighting soldier by applying the essentials of training. That is what I just showed you. The military thought which defines the approach of an army to war fighting would not be optimized and coherent without training. So it is important that correct training on the lines of one's doctrine be conducted without dilution. Why did I say dilution? We are still diluted because our army composes of many doctrines. Pakistan, India, China, everywhere. Why? Because our command training has principally been or was based on doctrines of the army. The worst was our middle grade command, which now we have managed to put together here, but based on the British doctrine. But that's fine, if the British doctrine is good for us, we go with that, but the point is for all to be on one page. Training experience ensures doctrine could be confidently applied. So Sri Lanka Army is stepping into training experience. You know, I would tell you very easily, very responsibly, that we have one of the best training experience in our youth. If you look at, all of you have been through our youth, no experience, no live fire experience as our Vayu is there in any part of the world. Nowhere. Some may say that we are not safety conscious. It's not so. But it's just that we do it as we do it. Our officers, I would say, who have done Vayus have been to combat. Good enough. I believe those live fire is still on. But that is the training experience. That is what we are going to depend on in the future to supplement that combat experience. Training is an imperative to readiness and generation of combat power. Combat power and conceptual power are integrated through training. Training as a part of the moral component. Training has an important part to play in the development of confidence, motivation and leadership through the army. We will have a look at the foreign military training and the Sri Lanka Army interaction. This is just more or less informative. So just let's have a look at the 2015 interaction. Before that, the types and categories of training. This is as per the British Army doctrine that we teach and learn in the staff college. We have individual, team, collective, operation specific and command. But the point here is, what I want you to understand strongly is, we have most of our command training, the training of the mind of our command takes place. The principal courses take place abroad. Of course, till we had a well-structured junior staff and junior command course, almost all our command training took place in foreign countries. We were dependent. We had a small army, we had a manageable army one time. Everything from the top, from the bottom to the top, we trained based on the doctrines of foreign armies. So that is an important thing to keep in mind. And naturally we don't look a cohesive army. We can't be cohesive. We won't think alike until we have our doctrine right. Then training includes these. It's not just about us going and following courses out of our country. It's training conducted by our army for foreign armies. Training conducted by foreign armies. Of course, that's the training we go and follow outside the country. Training conducted by private military contractors, PMCs. We had these people. And they also played a role, as we shall see in the next few slides. They also played a role in the development of our army and also in the defeat of the enemy. Training conducted in Sri Lanka, training conducted in foreign countries. So this is how the training gets. When you speak of foreign military training, you've got to look at it from the whole. The content of foreign military training, just will blast through this. These are the vacancies. This is 2015, if I'm correct. For officers, of course. Generally, it would be India would be in the region of 800 odd vacancies. India fulfills almost 80%, gentlemen, of our training needs, of our foreign military training in India. They avail very few of our training offer. And this is what it looks like. So this is India's defense diplomacy. They maintain a close connection with our military. It's defense diplomacy. Then we have Pakistan, China, Bangladesh, some of the other countries. This is skill development. This is 2015, so some of you must be wondering how come I didn't go on that course. So this is what the future, gentlemen, will see greater Western courses in our country. Point is, I don't know whether it will be mainly towards the military or mainly towards the law enforcement. I don't know whether it might be. It seems to be shifting towards law enforcement, but the military will also get. There will be a Western commander of the army told us that he is trying to get RCDS and all those. So the future in DC officers going on a DC will be lucky. These are the courses that we offer to foreign countries. So there is a degree of cooperation. I don't know whether we can call it defense diplomacy, but it is our little way of also projecting our little part of defense diplomacy. Field training exercises are the latest interaction. Nations prefer field training exercises than to the formal military training. And we have seen Comoros strike, I think it took place for the 6th time. And then we have Mitra Shakti with India. Silk Road was with China on M2, and as I told you, Pakistan, Maldives and Sri Lanka will be another trilateral exercise. So countries favor this. One thing is they learn more, and they are in a way being able to project that their troops work in that particular country, which establishes in a way, supports their diplomatic footprint. So we'll see the foreign military training, the defeat of terrorism. ELA 1. I just put together this tactical focus also, and because the training was done at tactical level, the tactical focus of our in ELA 1, it was low intensity in comparison to the other ELA 4 or 3. So our tactical focus was to contest jungle and re-establish control over urban areas. That is what, because we were in the traditional counterinsurgency concept of oil slick method and all that, pacification. Training focus, jungle warfare. We were first actually introduced to jungle warfare by ex-SAS elements of a private military contract. And that's where we first got our jungle warfare skills. I remember I as officer cadet, when we passed out, we went to Madhurur and we followed the SAS, private military companies training in jungle warfare. Then urban warfare, gentlemen, was conducted by the Israelis. The Israeli team conducted this in Madhurur, and this provided us the capacity to win in Vadamara. Then we had the Pakistan Army, their special service group, did what was known as the Advanced Infantry Training in Sadiq. Very successful course, which also tied up to the beginnings of RDF. Ties up to the beginnings of RDF and then subsequently it became special forces. So the SSG. And of course, during this period, our command training continued in foreign countries out of the country. Now the point here is, during this period and under no circumstances did India step in to train our troops. During this period, parallel to this training, the Indians were training the LTT and other militant groups, separatist groups. Eka Venagavan, the Israelis were training the LTT too in Israel. There are instances where one of our visiting teams had crossed them, we didn't know, but subsequently came to know. Even today we can't understand. But one thing we do understand, that during this period the Western influence was more. That time never would have a British SAS team come here and train command. They were not X, they were SAS. They trained the commandos in all the hostage drills, BRBC-50 and all that. So the Western, you can see the Western influence here. Israelis would never put troops on the ground without the US. At this point in time, the Israelis didn't have a diplomatic mission in Sri Lanka. Their diplomatic mission was established as the interest section in the US embassy. Next. So we continue to Elan 2, the tactical focus. Here we trained, we went for limited jungle operation, liberation of controlled areas. Again we were in the old, we were focused on terrain and demographics. Not very much on their view. Deep operations of course was conducted now. Because we had this deep operations concept which was strongly advocated in the army at that time, Air mobility came into focus. So we had the air mobile operations by US Special Forces, we did it in Brig. I also followed this course. Then we had the famous balance style. Again, US training conducted here. We had of course combined arms focus, special operations training. This was a special, again a private military company that trained the commandos. And I don't know whether the elements of SF, they are both. But this is supposed to have included not only a training deal but a commitment deal also to deal with the LTT leadership. From there, of course, I think this will work out. Formation training and command training will continue. But what you see is Elan 1 and 2. You see a Western influenced training that has taken place in our country. Okay, next. Elan 3. Of course, you can see that there was no training conducted by anyone here in Elan. Our focus was to recapture ground, large-scale operations, that is, we were more in the conventional focus. And Our training focus was battalion training, combined arms, offensive operations, exercises and all that. But what you have to see here is the pattern here. What I am trying to tell you is how training, suddenly the Western Army was not there. That trained us and supported us. You see, during Elam 1 and Elam 2, this period, Russia was biased towards, India was biased towards Russia. If you read foreign relations in the past, they were considered encamped with Russia. Russia was their principal military equipment seller and everything. But gradually, when India shifted position, you can see within this period, Elam 3 period, the Western training influence in Sri Lanka. So Elam 1 and 2, I personally, I make the deduction that the West was involved because they wanted to counter India as well. India was more Russia. As India shifted position, you can see there was nothing. Some also say this, that our human rights violations had increased to a level which the West decided to abandon us in terms of training in this country. So, towards the latter part of this Elam 3 period, only this famous Leahy, Senator Leahy of the US government, the Leahy Act, where USA will not provide training, came to be gradually enforced on Sri Lanka. Elam 4, no foreign military training in Sri Lanka. So why is it that the West was there in Elam 1 and 2 and not there in 3 and nowhere in 4? So there are, I hope the message of defense diplomacy is conveyed. Now one thing here is, Pakistan continued to remain with us, but Pakistan too was under the influence of the US, did not commit troops for training on. Okay. Just look at the training that foreign training conducted in Sri Lanka under the direction and control of you can see Power and Strike, Nugera, Silk Road, and I don't know what the next exercise will be named, but these are in the making. It is all a part of defense diplomacy. Included in this is also the rivalry that I spoke of, regional rivalries and all that is included. You and I have to do is to get training. Challenges and opportunities for foreign training. National policy, gentlemen, our national policy, especially in terms of how we perceive the future and with whom our foreign policy shifts, will also have a bearing on our training. So that's why I included national policy. Financial constraints, yes. This is something that we have had, but we have gradually overcome, but it is still there, and this can curtail our training. Of course, good diplomacy might bring us all paid packages, then we will be able to retain this. Selecting the appropriate candidate is another issue. Our selections are based on seniority. Seniority is fine, but still you need efficacy to go out there and gain. There is very little gain from our courses. We are not winning back things. because we can't absorb those as we have not selected the right. So maybe next year, junior command post will be based on people who have passed, who have achieved a grading in junior staff and junior command post. These will gradually come into play. Sustaining the image of the army in the wake of different perceptions. An incident in India. Straight after the conflict, the incident took place in senior command where on stage, whilst presenting the humanitarian operation, the victorious humanitarian operation, two officers of the Sri Lanka Army contradicted each other in the audience of the Indian senior command with the commandant and all present. It was the first presentation that the Indians were going to view of Sri Lanka's victory. Every mother's son was there. But two officers contradicted each other rather unpleasantly. So, sustaining the image of the army, they have different perceptions. They make a memo vendor. Why? Because they were looking at it from different lenses, not from one lens. One lens would have been doctrine. So I don't know, but common doctrine acted and they said this was very, very embarrassing. After that, if I remember during my period as director, we stopped and we did not allow any officer to present the humanitarian operation.